Okay, so this tutorial is going to go over some basics of hiding objects and showing objects. This is the way I figured out how to do it using the Age Engine, but if you know a better way, I would gladly like to hear about it. But either way, so basically what we're trying to achieve is this. You have a room here, there's a power panel, there's a TV lamp, and a button. So all of these three objects here are connected to the power panel. So basically the object would be that you have to activate all three objects to get the door to open, because it's obviously connected to this panel, just for example. So you click on the power panel and this object is showing now, but you can see there's three little LEDs or lights on this panel, but none of them are active. So you could use an object, for example, if you had keys or something, or some sort of lamp thing that would go for like a light bulb or something, you could put it with the lamp to activate it, but just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to be able to click on these items. So let's start with the TV. You click on the TV, I've just put an alert to show how it's being turned on now. So if we go back to the panel, you can see now there's a green light on. So the middle thing in the circuit is showing. So now, for example, we go back, click TV off. If we go back to the panel, you can see it's been removed. So let's say we activate all three, lamp, TV, go down, push the button. We come back, look at the panel, they're all on. And the way this works is basically you're taking a variable, it's acting as a switch. If it's on, then it's going to show that object the light, and if it's not, it's going to hide it. So that's basically what you're trying to achieve, is once all three lights are active, you'd be able to open the door. In terms of how this is done, go back to the engine. The first thing you want to do is you look at how this is set up in the scene. So we have the panel, you can see everything here. You can make it invisible if it's easier to work with, whatever the case is, but what's important on the way these objects are set up, is that this object is here. The green light is an object as well. So we have panel light 0, 1, and 2. 0, 1, 2. But what's important is the 3D height on these objects. Because it's one object on top of another, the 3D height I've set to 150, and that's represented by this line here, which allows it to show as on top. So you have all these objects loaded on your scene, and what's important is when you enter into the scene, you hide them immediately. So the bedroom panel open. This one here is the panel when you're looking at it when it's open. Hiding the panel lights. So these three things are hid. Just to create the variable at the start of the scene, just for this example, you don't necessarily need to create it at the entrance of the scene, but I created add TV switch 1, which basically adds the integer 1 to the variable TV switch. The reason this is important is because if we go down to, like, for example, the TV, which is an object here, we've got select TV bedroom. So when you click on the TV, it'll run an if statement. It'll say if the variable TV switch, which we created, is 1, then add TV switch 1. What that's going to do is that's going to add the integer 1 to 1, so it becomes 2. So when you click on it, you're creating the variable add TV switch 2, so that if you click on it again, when the if statement runs again, it'll say if it's TV switch 1, which it's not anymore, it's now 2, it'll go to this else statement sub TV switch 1. So now it reverts back to TV switch 1. So you're basically treating the integer like a switch. It's either 1 or 2. It's on or it's off, right? That's what these alerts represent. You're turning it on, you're taking it away. That's how I can have the lights be on and off in whatever sequence I choose. In terms of what you can apply this to, it can be done with a label as well. It doesn't necessarily need to be an object. So I've created the TV object, obviously, but the lamp was part of the background. So because I didn't want to redraw a lamp or take the time to cut it out, I just put a label around it, and then instead of select, you just select, instead of select TV bedroom, new select, you go new label, And it's the same logic here. If variable lamp switch 1, which is all these variables we've added at the beginning. So it changes the same for the button. It's the same logic. Where it comes into with the panel is, so select bedroom panel. What you can't see because it's behind this object, if I hide it, you can see the panel here in the background. Let me move this here. This little panel guy. So because this panel, once it's, what that logic does is once it's selected, select bedroom panel, is we're going to show the open bedroom panel, which is this one that I've made invisible. It'll make that show up on the screen. So once that shows up, it'll do some if statement. So it'll check if the variable lamp switch is 2, then show panel light, which is this panel light here, this object. So we're going to check, is the variable integer 2, which means we've gone over to the lamp, we've clicked on it, and the lamp is on. If it's on, show panel light. So that's going to show this object now. If it's not on, hide panel light, so it won't show it. One more important thing to take away from this is if you're going to have like a panel like this, or a drawer or a chest, for example, that can open up and you can look inside of it as an object in the scene as opposed to creating a brand new scene, you're going to want to have this click, which means when you click anywhere on the scene in the background, it's going to execute this command. So the reason this is important is because if you don't have this here, this object will always stay visible. So basically what you want to happen is you click on the panel, it opens up, becomes visible. As soon as your character goes to move or move away from the panel, by clicking to walk somewhere else, it's going to hide everything. So that's why these are here for hide bedroom panel, excuse me, and hide the panel lights. Basically, you just want to make sure that when you walk away, everything is hidden. So that's the overall logic behind how this functions, and how you can use objects to hide and show them to create more depth in the game, like opening up the panel and looking closer at it. And it also can help for verifying the puzzle. So like I said before, the 3 objects have to be on, all the 3 green lights have to be active before there's some sort of success, which allows you to open the door and complete the puzzle. So that's basically how you would achieve that using the Age engine.